Hey, hey, hey. Hey, hey, hey. What's up, what's up, what's up, what's up, what's up, what's up, what's up? Hey, everybody. My name is Carlos Matos, and I am coming from New York City, New York. Let me tell you guys that I am so excited. I am so happy. I am really so thrilled to be right now sharing this amazing, glorious, super and exciting moment of my life with all of you guys.
Same to you.
Let me tell you that we are really changing the world.
What's going on, everybody? It's another episode of Layer 1 Live. We are here changing the world. We're actually here changing the entire world. Hey. That was in New York City. I got to get to some Bitcoin Miami, but I just wanted to play Carlos Matos. I hadn't heard my man Carlos Matos in a long time. Needed to hit it. Happy Monday to everybody. This is Layer 1 Live, coming live from the LADZ network. We're going to cover everything in crypto today. So NFTs, DeFi, current market sentiments, all of that good stuff. Bitcoin Miami, which if you didn't hear or feel any FOMO, I feel bad for you. Because damn, that was a lot of tweets that came through. I was super upset that I didn't get to go to Bitcoin Miami. But we are ready to roll for this episode. By the way, let me know if the music's coming through. This episode's music is coming to you from the Bored Ape Yacht Club. Love the little community that's being, or large community that's being set up there. They have some little tunes in the backgrounds for us. So let me know if I need to turn that up, if I need to go down or up or what have you, just like the markets. But that's being brought to you by Bored Ape Yacht Club. Shout out to the BAYC. Shout out to my man Carlos Matos. And we're going to get directly into today's episode very quickly here. This is an article by Decrypt, 5 weirdest moments at the Bitcoin conference. So Max Keiser made a name for himself. If you guys don't know Max Keiser, you will now. So this is Max Keiser here, being brought up by our very own Peter McCormick, who I've got my feelings over. But
come on! Woo!
It's the lamest part of Bitcoin Miami, by the way. Here we go.
Yeah! We're not selling! We're not selling!
That was on par.
Elon! Fuck Elon!
That was the first time I actually watched that. I knew I had seen it all over my Twitter. First time I had watched that. But yeah, bunch of crazy shit happened at Miami this year. This Bitcoin Miami conference was absolutely nuts. I mean, there were people posting all over my Twitter feed just about the parties, let alone the conference itself. A lot of people were telling me that it was very Ethereum heavy. Very Ethereum heavy when it came to the people that were there, the conversations that we're having. So it was Bitcoin Miami, but you know, that is basically what's happening here with the entire industry. Everybody's moving into ETH. That's kind of a conversation that we need to be having. So Divine, sorry about Nightbot, man. He's gonna hold you down there. If you're going to be doing caps, I got to turn him off. I keep meaning to do so. But again, crazy shit was happening. You know, Floyd Mayweather was brought there by the Ethereum Foundation, I believe. They funded his stuff there. We had a Doge.
Well, so we're really excited about the progress
sighting
of LDK.
Everybody, we have a very urgent announcement.
All right, I don't know what's...
This is epic. What timeline are we in? This is we're going through the Bitcoin Miami. If you just are just joining us, this is Bitcoin Miami conference. This is insane, man. This is such a typical conference, but definitely a post-COVID conference as well. Just another one of these.
Hey, hey.
That could like put me to sleep, man. I love a little Carlos Matos. Anyways, it's Monday. We are having a post Bitcoin Miami conference, Layer 1 Live here. We're going to go through the markets. We got a lot of things to touch on. People are thinking maybe the market can go up. Maybe we're going to reverse a little bit. A lot of people calling for a bull or a bear. I'm sorry about that. A lot of people say there's a lot of indicators out there showing that we're going to go in one direction, and that is down. So let me know what you guys think in chat. I'm going to bring up Glassnode, who's absolutely killing it when it comes to analysis. And by all accounts, it's free. So we're going to kind of go through that here in a second. And then we're also going to go through the schedule here as we go. Again, LADZ City Network, we're bringing you all of the content Monday to Sunday. Shout out to Fun Uncle who's bringing us some content on Sunday. But Monday to Sunday, we're having content or events. This is Layer 1 Live. We've got the rest of the week pretty much laid out. I'll bring it up here. Let me see if I can't do that now. So this is the week we're looking at. Layer 1 Live right now. NFT Live on Tuesday. It's going to be 2:30, and this is all Eastern Standard, by the way. Layer 1 Podcast is going to be on Wednesday. Easy Street is again on Thursday. Easy. Best Easy Street I've seen in years. Best content we had on the channel last week. Easy was live inside a Miami club doing airdrops. Absolutely killing it. And then, of course, LADZ Day. Who can forget about LADZ Day? NFT Live, NFT Arcade, LADZ City Radio, and LADZ Poker. And then Saturday, we have LADZ Poker. People are competing for some awesome NFTs. And then Fun Uncle is going to be on Sundays. So, amazing stuff coming here. Again, content Monday to Sunday. We're only going to get bigger. We're only going to get badder in a good way. So, that is the schedule for this week. One quick note, we do have a scammer in LADZ City, or a potential scam-ish other city. How do I even put this? It's not a person, it's an actual account. So really quick, they were impersonating us, saying there was airdrops, as you can see, at Layer 1 Crypto. They have the LADZ token there. We've got this out on our Twitter. LADZ airdrop is live now, yada, yada, yada. None of this is real, people, so I know we had a lot of interesting folks joining LADZ City this morning via this. So, not real. Just keeping you on your toes there. Nightbot didn't catch this one. That's what I'm concerned about. So, all right, that is it's not totally the LADZ news, but we're not going to spend as much time on the LADZ news today. We'll get that in the city. We'll let you hit it. So, I'm going to go directly into the question of the day, which is where the hell are we headed? Taking a look at just the top, 15 by market cap. This is kind of reflective across the entire industry, obviously. If I continue to go down, saw a decent uptick here in the last, I would say, day and a half. But it looks like we're kind of reverting a little bit. We can pull the Bitcoin charts up here in a second. But I'm going to pull up this amazing article by Glassnode, and we're going to kind of go through what's happened in the past month and obviously hit me with your kind of sentiments as well. So, as an industry, again, over the past 7 to 14, I would even say, again, almost the entirety of May, we saw an absolutely gigantic sell-off. The worst of the sell-offs on May 19th printed the largest daily candle in Bitcoin history with an intraday price range of 11,500. Bitcoin's price fell to a total of 47.3% in May. So we have this beautiful illustration here. Super cycle. Love the super cycle talk. Love the super cycle talk here. That was obviously the run-up you see in December here, all the way up to about March. Coinbase was having all of that good news come out. We really felt like we were in a whole nother realm when it comes to the industry and that the bull market was going to continue. And then you start to see a little bit of a sell-off. We peaked out about 64, correct me if I'm wrong. All-time high, I'm looking for it. $64.8. And then we see this gigantic sell-off in May. Just absolutely brutal. So a couple of things that we're going to look at, particularly how this kind of looks different as opposed to 2017. 2017 was very, very heavily retail driven. Very. I mean, the difference is massive between the institutional interests in 2017 and the actual execution that we saw in 2020 and 2021. So that has a little bit of a play. Long-term holders, kind of their reaction here. So the biggest thing, and we can go to a TLDR before we actually get to all this, but biggest thing from this Glassnode article, which again, they did a phenomenal job with. For the bears, institutional demand clearly softening from February and the resulting supply sink and squeeze. So basically what they're saying there is institutional demand kind of not soaking up all of the Bitcoin on exchanges is going to, not have that supply squeeze where people are just trying to vie for a piece of the pie. The balances on exchanges has increased meaningfully, resulting in some large volume of coins and overhead supply that must now be reaccumulated. Balance on exchanges, they've got a couple really cool charts that I want to kind of look at here and show you guys how the balance on exchanges, in a bull market to bear market is incredibly different. In finding that inflection point, you can clearly see the start of a trend based on the amount of Bitcoin on exchanges. Stablecoin prices leading into the Coinbase listing, they kind of topped out, obviously, like 10, I believe 105, 110. A huge volume of short-term holders remain underwater, and long-term holders' unrealized gains are on a historical knife's edge coincident with the past bear markets. That's the feeling I get. And I hope it's, again, I really want to have this conversation with you guys because that's really where we are. Everyone is saying up or down, and a lot of people, goes one way or the other here. A couple, I wouldn't say 1,000, maybe if you're holding Bitcoin, but you're getting to the point or close with some altcoins where it's like, oh shit, I'm almost even. Or I'm almost, underwater. That's where the real conviction gets tested when we see these sharp drawdowns. So that's what they're saying there. And then for the bulls, right? We've got institutional products. GBTC and the Purpose ETF are showing signs of recovery despite collapsing prices, providing early signs of renewed institutional interest. Again, huge. This, I cannot stress enough, the difference between 2017 and 2021 was the institutional interest. They were driving a lot of this, and institutional or retail kind of was like, oh shit, don't want to miss the boat here. Your mom and pop kind of seeing the percentage increases and then saying, well, shit, I got to be a part of this. So products that we'll get to here in a second. Exchange balances have increased. A more nuanced view indicates a difference between U.S. regulated and offshore exchanges. So I'm going to get into that exchange balance. Stablecoin prints. So it looks like a lot of stablecoins are being printed. Thank you, USDT, for that. The majority of selling appears to have been short-term holders. Long-term holders appear to have bought the dip with increasing conviction. So last thing I'll touch on before we get into the actual specifics that I want to go through with you guys. Few have made the claim that hodling Bitcoin was easy. Obviously, a lot of volatility last week. What is clear is that the sell-off was of a significant scale, and a large volume of buyers are currently underwater. How the market recovers from here will no doubt be a test of market conviction amidst what continues to be a favorable macro backdrop for digital scarcity. So, very succinct, very clear statement here from Glassnode, and I really appreciated what they drawed out in their articles here. So a couple that I'll show you really quick. Again, there's the BTC 6-month performance. Let me get to sharing this episode really quick, guys. So there's a 6-month performance. Changes in institutional demand. So GBTC was a large indicator when it comes to seeing almost the rise and fall of Bitcoin's price, right? So at a premium, so institutions were purchasing GBTC at a premium of more than 10% here. And we saw that rise of Bitcoin's price. Premium less than 10%, and it completely went almost sideways, and then trading at a discount, which means like right now, institutions can get 10%, I think it's up to 15% discount on the BTC from this trust. So basically in that bull market right there, they're paying at a premium to get the GBTC. Right now in this bear market or this small kind of reversal here, it's actually trading at a discount, yet there aren't a lot of people buying. So in late February, inflows stopped completely and GBTC started trading at a perpetually worsening discount to spot pricing. Carrots is saying, how much of the scale of the drawdown can be attributed to huge leverage available to retail buyers? Hard to say. Yeah, we saw, that definitely had a piece in the actual drawdown and the scale of that drawdown, right? Just massive liquidations, just people getting absolutely wrecked left and right, leading to those cascading liquidations. We didn't see a March thing happen, right? In March, we actually had to shut off these exchanges to prevent the liquidations from happening and just destroying the market. It actually held up pretty well, even with a lot of what was happening with DeFi at the time. So DeFi in March 2020, non-existent. No, I wouldn't call it non-existent. There were some big players. Aave, Synthetics. There were some big players. But now, it's incredibly different. It was able to hold up. Dimitri, one of the guys on our channel who was doing a lot of TA at the time, was always talking about these existing tranches. And tranches are definitely, you're getting into the weeds now. But basically, if I take my Bitcoin and I stake it and I receive, another asset, IBTC or ZBTC or whatever the fuck I'm getting, and then I'm staking that, and then I get another token for doing that, you're creating all these different tranches of risk. Risk for, liquidations, risk to be, not having it be paid back. So all of that kind of held up in these big drawdowns. But anyways, great question right there, Hubber Snacks. Great statement. I'll get to the rest of this because it really does get to some good stuff. So the GBTC price has now traded at a discount for over 3 months, reaching a peak low of 21%. The presence of a GBTC discount both eliminates the enormous supply sink and also provided an advance warning that institutional demand had softened considerably. So some people could have used this indicator to say, the GBTC premium, as it went from positive to negative, and and it was going the other way, fast. Well, institutions are not. They don't have the appetite. They don't want to go in right now. So here's that discount here. But here's the key, guys. I love Glassnode here, and I love the indications or the indicators that they were giving. Look at this little tick up right here. GBTC discount now up to -3 from down at around 3.8 or 21.23%. So -20% GBTC trading discount. Obviously, that was a time where Bitcoin was absolutely tanking. What you see is now that GBTC discount is up to about -3%, -4%. Meaning what? Institutions, maybe they want to get back in. Maybe that 3-month period kind of let them get a lay of the land, but you do see an increased institutional interest here. And for what it's worth, my contacts, at least when it comes to the people that are inside of exchanges or doing other things, they're saying the same thing. More institutional interest. It hasn't gone away. It's not going to be a 2-year situation where they're waiting this out. This is huge right here. So if it's an institutionally driven market, this is what we got. So the ETFs kind of say the same thing. It's, again, all about institutional. Inflow, outflows, and now we see an inflow again. So inflow, capital moving in, right, into that ETF. As it hit May 3rd, went negative, and now we're seeing that continuous with stronger candles there. So what are we seeing here? Over and over, just with these two charts, institutional interest has somewhat returned. So another cool chart that we're going to go through to kind of explain what's happening here is exchanges. And this has more to do potentially with retail, but I'm certain, again, you guys could definitely help me out with this one. The difference between a liquid and illiquid supply, meaning liquid on exchanges, illiquid off exchanges, maybe in someone's cold wallet or something like that. This is big. Bitcoin stepped onto the world macro stage after March 2020, an effect that is clearly observed in the balances held on exchanges. Exchange balances underwent a dramatic reversal from the perpetual accumulation into an uninterrupted outflow. Meaning, here's March. Sorry. Where's my March? Right here. March here. And then what you see is basically people moving from liquid exchanges to illiquid wallets. And you just in this run, it's just boom, 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 boom. As you see this kind of little downtrend and move into negative, all of this is being stored up on exchanges. So another indicator here, how much liquid supply of BTC is being held on exchanges right now. That is extremely, I mean, it looks like the most liquid it's been since even before July 19th. So, guys, if you just joined, we're kind of going over trends. Glassnode provided a lot of analytics and insight here. They're doing a great job kind of giving us indicators. But it's really cool to see the institutional and exchange indicators that we see. So I'm not going to spend too much more time on this. Definitely want to get everyone's opinion here. So don't be afraid to kind of drop in what you're thinking about this market. Appreciate you, Carrots. And Carrots coming through with another great comment here. What if it's because there is a desire to trade BTC for something else? And there you have the literal title of our episode today. Will ETH flip BTC? So there's not a GETH in my, unless I'm completely out of whack. I don't believe the Grayscale has an Ethereum. Saying that out loud makes me think they do, but we would need to see something like that. We would need to see the inflows into something like an Ethereum trust. Maybe it exists, but maybe it doesn't exist in any type of quality. All right, here's another indicator here. Here's another indicator. So we see the exchange balance downtrend. There's an inflection point on April 3rd where this is changing. So outflow, 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 then inflow. So considering these exchanges service non-US entities, this may indicate a difference in market response, conviction, and events. So a lot to break down here, but so it looks like Crypto Sam is saying there is an Ethereum trust. I think we've covered that on Layer 1 Live, but I don't think it has any notable volume. At least Glassnode didn't pick it up on this article, and I think they should. Transaction fees are going down. We all know this. I'm going to go down here to long-term holders. Really love this. This was a little bit of a chart here. This was a little bit of a chart here on stablecoin prices. As you can see, I think it went up to it spiked to 103. So I was completely wrong with 110. But exchange pricing during times of extreme volatility, or stablecoin pricing. We saw a big, people are rushing into stablecoins. So you can use that as an indicator. This is probably, other than the first two, right, which is the the amount of Bitcoin on exchanges, and I believe, what was the other indicator we were using? Institutional demand, so GBTC. This long-term behavior is really cool because what you see is the difference in people who just showed up, your mom and pop, and me and you, right? And maybe even mom and pop if you're watching and you've got diamond hands. Congratulations to you. So there's some indications here. I'm gonna find the one that I want specifically to show you guys. It looks like hodler spender behavior. Finally, we will investigate the spending versus hodler behavior of the market. In particular, we'll focus on the balance between new investors who may be relatively new to volatile worlds of Bitcoin and long-term holders whose conviction is shaped by years of battle scars. That's us. I'm going to try to find this. Thought I saw a good one. I don't know if I'll be able to kind of break down all of these charts here, but we do have a difference, right, between long-term holders and relatively new people in the market. And those long-term holders, and the importance here is the long-term holders, that is only going to likely increase over time. You know, Bitcoin and Ethereum and crypto in general, it's a little bit of zealotry involved. Once you're in, you know, you're going to have the people that are super objective and trying to time markets and things like that. But for the most part, people that come in accumulating Bitcoin, and that's staying there over time. And that's certainly showing in a lot of what they're talking about here, which is what I'm trying to find. But that's a great narrative, right? The supply side crisis. There's not enough Bitcoin to go around as more and more people will adopt this. So here's a good piece right here. The supply held by long-term holders has actually returned to accumulation, which supports the thesis that coin maturation and institutional holding remain in play. Should this play out, it would resemble the start of a bear market, but also promote eventual supply squeeze. That's kind of what we're talking about. Not enough Bitcoin to go around. Add more long-term holders. Can't add any more BTC. Long-term holders currently hold 10% more of the active supply than they have in all prior market cycles. Again, there's the narrative. You're adding more long-term holders to that piece. And I think what they're kind of talking about there, number one, as you see these peaks and valleys in these accumulation pieces, that's when long-term holders are accumulating BTC. And then at the end of these peaks is when all these long-term holders are dumping on retail investors that are trying to join. And then it's a constant cycle. So saying that this is the start of this peak is basically saying, okay, we're at the start of a bear market where people are going to start accumulating. The question then becomes how quick are these peaks? That's the biggest thing. How quick are these peaks and valleys? A lot of people will say that the cycles will shorten. So a lot of really cool stuff from Glassnode here. Appreciate you guys following along. I loved Carrot's comment there. What if it's because there's a desire to trade BTC for something else? I would love to get Glassnode to, and I'm sure they do. I'm sure they're all over ETH. But this is basically the case. So if you are a bull or you are a bear, here's your cases. For the bears, they're saying institutional demand is softened. Balances on exchanges are going up. And stablecoin prices leading into Coinbase listings suggested distribution was underway. So basically using those different indicators. For the bulls, if you are a bull, institutional products, GBTC and Purpose ETF are showing signs of recovery. So our institutional investors getting back in. That's my biggest thing, and in probably what I'll be following here over the course of the next couple months is everyone's trying to figure out, are we in a bull market? Are we in a bear market? Well, we're clearly in an institutional driven market right now. Crypto Buffalo is asking, what if you're a buffalo? Is that somewhere in between bear and bull, or is that like past bull? Right now I know you're bearish. Okay, that was a little bit of a look again at Glassnode and a little bit of a look at why I'm thinking the way I do in this market. Again, I probably lean more bullish here just because it's not the same as last time, in my opinion. I know that's a kind of a meme, but you have a lot more institutional money. I don't think the retail appetite, although right after 2017, I don't know if you guys remember this, right after 2017, there was a little bit of a jump back in 2018. I think Ethereum hit that as well. Let's go max. It's going to be hard to see this. So you see this little jump right here in May of 2018. I don't know if you remember that, but we saw that market top in Jan all the way down. So Ethereum was sitting at 1,300. Woo! Big time. All the way down to about 380, and then it peaked in April. So we might see that same thing. You can kind of see it. It's still, look, you might see a little bit of a trend upwards. But I cannot overstate how much I think that this money that's flowing in is going to either shorten a bear cycle or completely, kind of look different than the last cycles. Although, again, you look at those Glassnode charts, they're very, very cyclical. Same kind of looking charts within different time frames. Carrots is saying that feels like 30 years ago. True. You know, it didn't feel like 30 years ago when I turned it on.
Hey, hey, hey. Hey, hey, hey. Hey, hey, hey.
Say it with me.
What's up, big connect? Hey, everybody.
That will never get old. Never. Never will that get old. All right, guys, we are well underway into this episode. The real question, I guess, then, between BTC and ETH is, are we going to see this flippening, right? BTC is sitting at somewhere in the vicinity of 663 billion. ETH is sitting at 313, so almost half. Almost half. And whether that's going to be flipped. And I would love to see the ETH BTC chart over the years. I would love to see the ETH BTC chart. Let me see if I can't pull that up on TradingView. I'm going to pull this up for you guys and see where we're at. All right, so we've got a little bit here. God, I love 5-minute charts. All right, let's zoom out. Let's zoom out. I don't know what the hell this was. On April 2017. Okay, so here's the ETH BTC chart. This is May of 2018. So this was that last peak that I was talking about. Nobody remembers it. I do because I was an ES holder, and it went to, I believe, $20. RIP. But here's the peak, and we're almost at that. So we've got a little ways to go here, obviously. But that there's a lot of things moving in the direction for this to continue, for this to completely continue. See a little bit of depth here. I mean, look at, that's a 700% increase or more since September 2019. So will it be flipping? That is the question everybody's asking. ETH 2.0, when? You have EIP 1559 coming out. Deflationary narrative is coming out. Although I think a lot of people are kind of against some things that are happening in EIP 1559. So there's a lot moving for Ethereum right now. And there's a lot moving for some other tokens as well. So over the course of the last 24 hours, but we can extrapolate that into 7 days, Polygon has done really well. We'll talk about Solana doing really well. I've seen Arbitrum be thrown around a bunch. But I don't have enough information on Arbitrum to kind of throw around any knowledge on it. So ETH 3.0 coming before 2.0. Yep. So let's take a look at ETH really quick. This is from Crypto Potato, another great media outlet there. So they drew some squigglies here. ETH is up by substantial 18% over the week as it trades around 2,800, but still resides inside the ascending triangle. God tier chart here. Let me know if the music's a little loud for you guys, or if it's not loud enough, I can turn it up. So here's a little bit of TA from people that are a little bit more experienced than I am at drawing squigglies. It looks like ETH broke out of that ETH BTC ascending triangle there. So both interesting charts to follow. There's a lot of people in the industry that are begging ETH to flip Bitcoin right now, especially this weekend. All right, I'll try to turn this up just a little bit for you guys. I'm not sure if it's coming through. Again, Bored Ape Yacht Club, shout out. All right, let me know if you can hear that, and we'll continue running. Down, up, whatever it be. So that's what we'll kind of end there. We'll kind of end there on ETH and BTC and kind of the overall market. We're going to go into specific projects as we usually do. But we kind of have that backdrop for BTC and ETH. I hope that kind of laid it out. If you guys have any questions that's related to ETH, BTC, the current market, just let me know. So Daily Gwei is a great newsletter there. Bankless does a great job as well. And we will get into our quick news here. So here's the biggest, I wouldn't call it the biggest. We got a lot of news to cover today, guys. But we are going to hit the Donald Trump says Bitcoin is a scam. So former U.S. President Donald J. Trump says Bitcoin just seems like a scam. The direct quote is going to be, Bitcoin, it just seems like a scam. I was surprised at 6,000. I don't like it because it's another currency competing against the dollar. Essentially, it's a currency competing against the dollar. I want the dollar to be the currency of the world. That's what I've always said. Continuing on his thoughts here, I'm not a fan of Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies which are not money and whose value is highly volatile and based on thin air. In a way, he's not wrong on this one. I mean, the currency narrative is we're not going to be there. We've moved far beyond that, but competing with the US dollar is not that far off from what it's actually going to do down the line. Now, it would behoove the United States likely to be a little bit quicker on their adoption of Bitcoin so that somebody like China doesn't kind of come in and I know we have like people around the globe, so would love to hear your insights here. Everyone doesn't live in the US, though we Americans like to think we're at the center of everything. If China adopts blockchain and is one of your rivals, as it seems to be coming to a head in, the 21st century here, do you want to be left out in the cold here with the US dollar not the reserve currency of the world, which I think again is the point that he's right on. Expo saying he never tried to attack it with policy during his presidency. Yeah, I don't think he did. I don't know if he went about it in any in-depth manner. Divine's Leaper, nice to see you here. He said he did make a bad tweet about it, actually. So, I mean, there's a lot of things as it's related to Donald J. Trump's Twitter that we could get into on today's podcast or show, but we're not going to. So, I don't, again, I'm going to reiterate, don't necessarily disagree with this statement, other than, I mean, the currency portion, we're not going to be there until there's more scalable pieces and we see a little bit more adoption of BTC. So, all right, this hits close to home. I am a gamer myself, a long-time gamer. Shout out to the gamers in the house. Crypto exchange FTX spends $210 million to rename the most valuable pro esports team, TSM. Now, I'm a 100 Thieves fan. We're a little bit of rivals to these guys. Shout out to Nade Shot there. But FTX, according to the New York Times, has been bought or is buying TSM, and there's going to be a name change here. TSM FTX. Really like what they're doing here. They've already renamed the Miami Heat Stadium. They have buku bucks. Might as well do something. But esports gamers, esports enthusiasts, these are all people that are going to be parallel to the crypto industry. If you have a product you want to get in front of people who can adopt it, that's a good move. So, SBF and the team making some moves here. They bought TSM for $210 million and actually got them to change the name too. Shout out to 100 Thieves. All right, we are going to move into the next story here. Crypto Stamina is getting involved here. Dollar is a global currency is the POTUS in him talking truth. I guess you can never not be a president again, you're locked in. Are there stories of Sippy Cup Joe trying to go after crypto? I think yes. There are clear indicators that that regime is going after crypto a little bit. So more so than the conservatives, I think the liberals are definitely looking into tax evasion for one. Trying to get that money. Divine's Leaper saying, don't expect the regime to say anything positive about BTC as long as the Fed remains negative no matter who is in the White House. Love the comments. Donamo saying, El Salvador leading the way in national adoption. We'll get to that story next. Amazing stuff. Expo saying he makes bad tweets about a lot of things. What he says and does were always two different things. So, yeah, I would agree with that somewhat. Panama soon too. Perhaps one of its congressmen leaked about putting a motion forward to follow El Salvador. That's a good segue here as we make our way to the next story. That El Salvador is formalizing the legislative proposals to declare Bitcoin legal tender. So, I hope I don't screw this up. Nayib Bukele, El Salvador's controversial president, announced Saturday that he plans to submit a legislative approval that, if and when passed, would grant Bitcoin the status of legal tender in his home country. It looks like they came on during the Bitcoin conference, actually. And they pulled him up on the screen and he made that announcement. Let's see. This is my first time hearing his words here. We hope that this decision will be just the beginning in providing a space where some of the leading innovators can reimagine the future of finance, potentially helping billions around the world. And then he changed his photo to... Let's do a petition to get the laser eyes to stop here. We don't need it. Please. So, love the parallels here, the synergy within these two stories. This is the shot heard around the world. What's transformative here is that Bitcoin is both the greatest reserve asset ever created. Sounds like a little bit of what we just talked about with Donald Trump, with the USD being the world reserve currency. You don't want to see that power kind of taken away. So, there's a little bit of that. So I'm already getting comments from people talking about this, and we'll dive into this story here, as we will probably see more. I wouldn't call them third world countries. You know, the LATAM countries definitely could use a boost in. It almost feels like a Malta, doesn't it? It almost feels like a Malta, where Malta was really setting up their legislation to be super appealing to Bitcoin companies, to blockchain companies. It does feel that way, although it seems more related to Bitcoin itself than to blockchain, which is how Malta was going about it. And then Malta really, if you guys weren't following that story, I mean, that really kind of came apart. There was actually some weird shit that went on with Malta, by the way. If you guys haven't looked into that story, there were like hits on potential, I don't know if it was senators or people in government and legislation. There was some weird shit that went down in Malta, man. I don't know. Go look that up. We don't have time to cover that now. But El Salvador president submits bill to recognize Bitcoin as legal tender. So this is from the actual stage and presentation, which I guess they used Jack Mallers, who's a well-known guy within crypto. Mahler said on stage that he lived in El Salvador for 3 months and discovered that 70% of the population there does not have a bank account. 20% of the country's GDP comes from remittances sent by migrants to family members. And Mahler said the app has been onboarding 20,000 El Salvadorans a day. It's a fairly large amount there for Strike, which I guess partnered with the El Salvadorian government. Man, there's a lot of good information here kind of being found in both these stories. It looks like there's some like U.S. and El Salvadoran shakeup and tension here. Man, this is very intricate with the U.S.'s response here, because you do have your status being kind of a, what's even the word, banker for the world. Kind of have a tight grip on a lot of these countries, and if they get off the U.S. dollar, what's going to happen? All right, Xbox saying El Salvador doing anything about MS-13 or sending their unwanted north in caravans. Not sure what's special about any adoption of crypto actually means for such a crime-ridden country. Well, there's a lot of crime-ridden countries, Puerto Rico being one of them that I would mention. There's a large contingent of crypto nomads there that have like set up shop, and locals feel a certain way about it, and it's not necessarily the safest country. So you can have these crypto hubs and bring in GDP to your country, without dealing with the other side of the train tracks. So that being there is going to, obviously be important. Hubbard Snacks. All right, we're getting really, really political here as we continue. Hubbard Snacks is saying, U.S. has been squandering its lead in the world for years. Feels bad, man. Yeah, it will be an interesting future here. But look, this could be a cascading effect here for LATAM countries. If they feel like this is what we needed, a flag bearer to go out in front and say, hey, we want to recognize Bitcoin as legal tender. We want to save our, whatever tatters there are of our, GDP, or it's not a silver bullet by any means, but it's not necessarily a bad thing for Bitcoin. I think you look at Costa Rica, or you look at, Puerto Rico as kind of the example and the case study there of having the ability to have things like low capital gains to zero capital gains. So you have a bunch of crypto natives, high net worth individuals that likely bring a lot of money into those areas. And frankly, I mean, just notoriety for the country. When's the last time you talked about El Salvador? All right, we will continue here. Let's see if we can pull anything from this article from Decrypt here. So remittances, it looks like buying groceries locally made its way into this article here. China's had an interesting, as we make our way into more political talk, China's had an interesting relationship, if you will, with Bitcoin. And there's always a case that you look at China and the moves that they make, and they're trying to keep money in their system. So the fact that 21% of the country's GDP comprises remittances, it's like, why would that be then a good thing to have the remittances be completely off the table if you're introducing something like a Bitcoin fee? Unless you have the rails via Strike and then you set that up with the government. I'm trying to think that out in real time. But if your country's GDP is heavily based on remittances and you take remittances away, work that out for me while I get onto this next article. But yeah, narrative wise, good. You're going to see more of these countries kind of continue to adopt Bitcoin, and we're just seeing that those domino pieces fall. So all right, I'm going to skip around a little bit here because this kind of fits into the next piece. China to give away 6.2 million in latest digital currency trial. Now this is going to be in Beijing. They've already run this in, I believe, Shenzhen. So Chinese tech hub Shenzhen had a similar lottery last year. They distributed about 1.5. This is going to be about $6.2 million distributed amongst 200,000 residents. That comes out to like $31 a person. Where you have to be careful with this, guys, is And I always go back to Nick Szabo's quote. I saw Nick Szabo speaking at the Toronto conference like 2 years ago, and one of the main quotes that stuck out to me, which I loved, was, "We have to free ourselves of blockchain or they will enslave us with it." Well, this sounds a lot like giving up, depending on how much you move into the DCEP and their central bank digital currency, sounds like you're giving up a lot of freedoms potentially for $31. And, you know, the U.S. is going to do the same thing. And this is going to be contentious. The only reason it's not contentious now is because not enough people realize the negative effects. But as these become adopted, we'll start talking about it. I guarantee you'll see it more in the news. So they're running this in Beijing. About 6.2 million USDC, or USD, not USDC. That would take all the reasoning out of it. A total of 200,000 residents will get digital red envelopes. And each envelope will contain about $31 in the form of the digital yuan, officially dubbed digital currency electronic payment. And if you are a resident of Beijing, you have until June 7th. If you're somehow listening to this in Beijing, get on it. So we talked about kind of the adoption there of blockchain and blockchain tools and all of these different things. Chinese banks, like some of the largest in China, are getting on board with DCEP, are moving pretty quickly. Obviously, the Chinese government, when they want to do something, can move relatively quickly. And if they set their minds on this, it will be electrifying to see the response by the U.S. and other countries. All right, I'm going to read this out loud because it deserves to be read out loud. This is an actual article from Decrypt. Did Elon Musk just pump CumRocket? What do you guys think? Did Elon just pump CumRocket?
Hey, hey, hey. Hey, hey, hey.
All right, so there's the actual story, and then there's where do you even go with something like this? Anyways, June 5th, which was 2 days ago, he tweets a water, rocket, and moon sign, which got a lot of retweets. The old SEC enforcement tag by Kiao. Tell me how to say that. Wang. And Dr. Parikh Patel, which is a great follow if you don't know. Is this a sign to go all in on CumRocket? Well, yes, it is, because it subsequently went from 7 to 28 cents. It is now back to 16. I don't even want to search this, but it's related to the story. Looks like it's still falling now, about to 10 cents. I guess the bigger Litecoin's asking, what does this even mean? This is an amazing story. Holy shit. So I guess the bigger conversation here is how Elon is getting himself wrapped up in all this. Like, it was kind of funny at first. It was a little less funny when he continued to go at it. I know Bitcoin Twitter kind of went at him this past week. And now it's just getting ridiculous, both from a regulatory perspective and just like person to person, people to people. Anonymous came out I don't know if you guys saw this, but Anonymous came out with a message to Elon. So I'm going to see if I can find this. Let's see if I can find this for you guys. But it's getting to the point that you're kind of like, haha, Elon, this was funny, and now it's getting a little bit ridiculous.
For the past several years,
and here's Anonymous coming out.
Citizens of the world. This is a message from Anonymous, for Elon Musk. For the past several years you have enjoyed one of the most favorable reputations of anyone in the billionaire class, because you have tapped into the desire that many of us have to live in a world with electric cars and space exploration, but recently your carefully created public image is being exposed, and people are beginning to see you as nothing more than another narcissistic rich dude who is desperate for attention. It appears that your quest to save the world is more rooted in a superiority and savior complex than it is in actual concern for humanity. This has been obvious to your employees for a long time, who have faced intolerable conditions under your...
So, the cummies, wow, okay. So that was Anonymous coming out. I can try to link that video as well. I tried to actually get the link, but you guys can find that obviously by searching Anonymous. They went a little far. I like Anonymous's videos usually, but it went a little far. It was a little bit too much in my opinion for what Elon is doing. I do think that the first part of the message where it's saying there was really a bond, he was really one of us, I think. Oh, look at EC. They say that it is fake since it is not from their official YouTube channel. That's Inception. Anonymous should make a video about that. Anyways, I think even without the Anonymous YouTube channel, whether it's real or fake, the sentiment from the community is that, hey, look, I thought we were on the same side. And it increasingly feels like it isn't that way. So there's also the regulatory stuff that you're clearly pumping and dumping, whether you're buying this or not. Your tweets have an effect on the market. Xbox saying the FBI's on my way to the FBI's on the way to my house now and seizing my PC. I need to get my hardware wallet out before they come here. I'm gonna leave now. That was a terrible joke. All right, guys, later. No, I'm joking. Okay. So Cummies shot up accordingly. It is now down to about 10 cents. And then he hit it again. So if you think that this was vague, he actually comes out and retweets or, replies to a tweet talking about the pump. So continuing among me and Buffalo were talking about 2 or 3 weeks ago about Doge. If you just timed your investments with Elon Musk tweets, this is not investment advice. Do your own research. When he told me about Doge and that we should, potentially get involved, you're kind of like, this is dumb. Like, Doge is clearly pumping and dumping off relatively nothing, just Elon tweets and TikTokers. But do you want to be right or do you want to make money? And at the end of the day, if you somehow timed up your investment strategy with Elon tweets, you'd probably be up pretty big. So, anyways, if to tie a big bow on that whole article, it looks like this CumRocket coin is associated with porn stars, because of course it is, because that's where we're at. Crypto Stamina is asking who is buying Felon. Absolutely phenomenal marketing of that token there. Guys, there's about 30 of you guys in the house here. Thank you for stopping by and enjoying this Monday with me talking crypto markets. If you just jumped in at this part of the episode, I'm sorry. That's just where we were at. We're going to make our way into NFTs now. We're going to make our way into DeFi. really there was a lot of macro stuff, a lot of macro news, Bitcoin news, Ethereum news that I wanted to touch on, so that we didn't have as many NFT stories. But if you do have an NFT story, I'm more than happy to pull it up. I'd love to cover any of the NFT news that you want to cover, as well as DeFi. DeFi, are we in DeFi summer? I'll pull up some tweets that maybe indicate that. All right, let's take a look. Here's the NFT market as it stands right now. It's 24 hours, 7-day rankings, 30-day rankings. So we get a little bit of a look at the volume. CryptoPunks, obviously, a lot of large transactions leading to their top of the list here. NBA Top Shot, Meebits, Bored Ape Yacht Club, Our Planet. VFriends did some nice things. 7 days, you're getting a little bit of a clearer picture as to what happened this past week. You got Bored Ape Yacht Club, just an absolute behemoth right now. I think the floor is sitting somewhere at 2 ETH. NBA Top Shot, CryptoPunks, VFriends. That is pretty much the tail of the tape there. Other than adding VFriends into that mix, I don't think we missed anything specific. Let's see if we saw anything kind of pop off. No, it really is. Oh, you know what we're missing here is Bonsai and Zen NFT. We definitely want to hit that. Another great site that you want to take a look at, which I can drop in the chat, NFT EXP. We dropped this on NFT Live the other day. Looks like it's going to be a great site to explore assets. I can kind of pull this up here. Cyberkong's making a list. Shout out to Lander there. But we see a little bit of Bonsai action here. Average price doing pretty well. Still kind of feeling my way around this interface, but they don't have any market overviews yet. That would be great to do some, obviously overviews between projects. And let's see if they actually have a blog. Take a look at that. Very, very good point there. Crypto Slam is saying Crypto Slam needs to add Axie. I don't know why they haven't. Is it the move to Ronin, possibly? Their side chain there? So, NFT EXP, I'll be using that a bunch. Crypto Slam is obviously one of the better little websites here for NFT sales. Bored Ape Yacht Club has taken over the internet. I want to give a quick shout out to Marty McFly, who's doing his own side project in LADZ. If you need or want to be a part of this competition, head over to Ape Competition. I know you can see it right behind me. Boom, right there. Oh, shit's getting a little weird back there. Ape Competition is going to be in the city there, as you can see. Hop in, drop a tagline for what you think explaining to your wife would look like on a Bored Ape, and you will win some LADs, as well as dropping your ape in there if you already have one. If you have one, he's using that on a website now. I don't know if he wants me to share that website, but we'll leave that for now. So, DApp Radar is another good one. Good point there. It's a little amazing what has happened with Bored Ape Yacht Club and kind of the that would put Axie at the top. Crypto Sam is saying Axie 30-day volume is 47 million. That would put it above CryptoPunks. Really cool to see. Axie's a beast. Axie's an absolute beast. Completely lost my train of thought there. It's definitely, what makes one project just absolutely take off as opposed to others? I guess you could say that in any type of business vertical, but within the generative art vertical, if you will. Stay with me. How did this specific one really capture everything it needed to capture, which is what it's done? I don't know. I enjoy the art pieces. I think they're really cool looking, but that's what made it pop off. It's definitely more of a lot of factors put together, but it's still unreal to see. There's a 50 ETH sell here, although you don't know if that's just between two wallets. Xbox saying, since I don't have an ape, I have to justify spending money on special editions of COGS with their partnership with Marvel on BSC. Xbox, if you get that link to me here, I wasn't able to open it in mod chat, but go ahead and drop that to me in DMs. I'll open that up. It sounds like a pretty cool story. Otherwise, we'll get on to this next one. Speaking of BSC, Binance picking 100 artists to spearhead launch of NFT marketplace. So we noted this, over the past month here, that Binance was launching their own NFT marketplace, which was weird because they were funding a bunch of different NFT marketplaces. Like they were putting a bunch of money, although they have buku bucks. So, they can throw money at whatever. But they are launching this marketplace June 24th. And it looks like they're working with 100 creators here. So there's not much in ways of details here, at least on this block article. The exchange announced the marketplace in late April. 2 main features, trading and premium events, and just auctions. So, BSC needs to get going with their NFT play, and I think they will. But we will continue to monitor this. That's going to be a big marketplace. We see Vive on Flow. These marketplaces that aren't noted or notable, like maybe the Wax marketplace, maybe OpenSea, but they will be. So that's a good one there. Let's see. Xpog dropped the link for me. We are going to open this bad boy up. RFox is otherworldly with shipping stuff, so fully expect this to be awesome, and it looks dope already. All right, this is from Ho Chi Minh. I didn't know they were. I did know they were in Vietnam, but cool to see. Vietnam-based Red Fox Labs announces RFox Games NFT IP partnership with Marvelous NFTs. That's a cool, just a really wholesome feeling here as I read this. So RFox Games is partnered with the Marvelous NFTs to present Bad Days COGS special edition NFTs launching on BSC. So, would love to get a time frame here. Do we have a time frame on the? I'm sure that that this is the actual partnership announcement. Would love to see a time frame here, but really, it's to be expected. COGS is, if you're not in COGS, that is the one to be in. I don't know how far they're venturing outside of Wax, but if you're in the Wax ecosystem, COGS is the one to be in. RFox is all the way. RFox all the way. All right. This is a cool little piece that I'm going to touch on very briefly. Charlie bit my finger. We saw the 20, maybe 18 to 25-year-olds now, all the kids that were on memes back in the day, making a killing. Well, the Charlie bit my finger NFT sold for about $760,000, and it's going to pay their tuition and university bills. It's a very expensive university, so I'm sure they'll be getting a little bit more on the side, if you will. Maybe they can go on a plane and recreate that. All right, and this one hits close to home because we did have Dreamloops on NFT Live last week. This was an awesome interview. If you haven't checked Dreamloops out, you want to go back to our NFT live episode that we had on Friday, I believe. But this is being launched on June 13th. We will continue kind of covering them a little bit. I'm going to talk to them about getting some LADZ stuff here, maybe a giveaway or something like that. But Digiphysical here, a couple of them are going to have vinyls and cassettes associated. But again, generative art, we'll see how they go and play this one out. And there's audio pieces to these as well. So that one hits close to home there, and we're happy to have had them on the channel. Hubbersnack's saying they should have invested in crypto instead of paying for university. Okay. All right, that is the last bit on NFTs. I'm going to hit Asmodee's comment really quick on Bored Ape Yacht Club. I think it's the way they push derivative works for apes. And Hubbersnack's saying the community, the developers, the art. Yeah, it's all of those things, right? It's just, you just see the end product, you know, you see the end product in the evolving product of that community, and it just catches on for all of those factors. So really cool to see. That floor price is going up and up and up. I wonder what people's thoughts are there on that floor price. I mean, there's only so many apes. You have the Bitcoin narrative for a monkey NFT. So we will watch that average floor price. Okay, I'm going back to not CumRocket. I'm going back to the general market here to check my Polygon price, but I'm also checking the Solana price. So over the last 7 days, we've seen an increasing amount of just really strong, almost like hold up, if you will. Like they've definitely stayed strong here in the market, which is other layer ones and potential layer twos. And when I say, you know, other layer ones and layer twos, most everybody, you know, is kind of under that understanding, but basically other scalable chains that have their own dApps being built on top of them, those have held up very, very well. So Solana, for example, over the past 7 days, 50%. So within the, I mean, you definitely see here that sell-off, right? Here's the kind of the peak here in May. You see the sell-off, but overall, in general, these are holding up fairly well compared to their counterparts. There was a really cool Masari article about this that I'm not sure I'm going to be able to find, but just the fact that Solana's up this large is kind of a general feeling that, hey, layer ones, layer twos, these are going to do really well, and that's the narrative. DEXs in DeFi are doing super well as well. So along with this Solana story here, we have them raising $450 million. Serum, which is a DEX there on Solana, they're doing really well. So we have kind of varying reports here. They came originally from Decrypt, so let's see if we can't get into that. So according to multiple sources, some of whom spoke on the condition of anonymity, Solana is raising between 300 and 450 million. Decrypt was unable to obtain a precise figure, but learned that the company had intended to close a smaller round. But, of course, it was oversubscribed. So SBF is a huge player in this, the founder there of FTX. They obviously have Serum there, that DEX on Solana. They're heavily involved in seeing Solana do well. So that's a big factor. When you're looking at Solana, it's you know, FTX seeing a huge rise in popularity, in volume, and all these things. That looks favorably on Solana. So it's a lot of fluff here. But basically, that's the narrative right now. And I think this leads into DeFi summer really well. We could see another run here with DeFi, and that's probably the play. You have a lot of good narratives coming out of DeFi, right? The infrastructure's built out. The teams are continuing to scale up. The total value locked is strong. And you really have it all there to sell the narrative. So we're going to touch on Uni here in a second. But the cash flows, the revenues, those are all there. And it's relatively ready to roll. Before I get into a little bit more on DeFi Summer, this is kind of related to or clearly related to NFTs, but it's a NFT project there on Solana. So Metaplex, a new decentralized NFT protocol. It's an open source protocol built on Solana that is creator likened to Shopify, the popular service that lets small businesses stand up e-commerce sites. So that's an add-on here to Solana as they look to build out their ecosystem of sorts. So we'll kind of move on here to another piece, and I'm skipping around a little bit because it definitely favors more of the. I love. There's a whole nother piece to this of I just love DeFi and the memes and the community. It can get a little toxic. I think the NFT community is definitely a little bit more welcoming than the DeFi bros. Crypto Javier saying, hello, I found a bugged crypto exchange. I posted a video of Lidio. Interesting. Andre Cronje, who was basically DeFi Jesus. I mean, the guy, you could make the argument that he directly, led to DeFi Summer last year, 2020. In creation of Wi-Fi and kind of that boom, and then just the subsequent projects, which I was definitely a part of and got rugged on a few of these. I'm gonna put my name out there and say that. Anyways, gas prices are a bit earlier than expected, but ETA is looking good. Won't be using deployer addresses though. And look, like you just go through the quoted tweets. And everyone's just waiting for it. I mean, here's the thing, like, this is another narrative to play into why we're not going to see another bear like we did last time. Just the amount of projects that exist. This definitely is me. Croissant ETH is saying, I'm about to get rugged by Andre again. It might actually be DeFi Summer. Exactly my feelings. I will be getting rugged. Blue Kirby's right there as well. A prominent crypto influencer. Icebergy. So basically everybody. Sasano's in there. Everyone's waiting for this guy to put out another product. If you don't know about Andre Cronje, you have the potential to make massive gains in a very short amount of time. And you also have the potential to get wrecked. It's teetering on an absolute thinnest point of a knife that you've ever seen. So good luck. Godspeed. So everyone's kind of waiting, and that really is, it's just a throwback that I decided to put in there, man, because DeFi Summer, I don't know when it started. Let's see if we can't go like to Aave or Wi-Fi maybe. Hubbersnack's saying it's going to be his first DeFi Summer. Listen, you're going to experience DeFi Summer with MATIC and with Solana. It's an entirely different experience than experiencing DeFi Summer on Layer 1 ETH. I mean, you're paying massive gas fees, like some ridiculous gas fees to try to make profit. But anyways, So this starts in July of 2017, kind of kicking off, again, DeFi summer a little bit. I'll go into another article or another price chart and see. But we see this run up. This was heavy into DeFi summer. August, I know Labor Day was definitely DeFi summer. Let's see if we can't go to Aave. Carrots is saying DeFi summer without the soul-crushing gas fees. Yes, exactly. Okay, Aave, year out. And there we go. We see it again. Okay, wait. Were they... Tell me they weren't lend. That's how far along ago this was. Okay. I'm totally confused right now. I guess Aave didn't see. I mean, you see the volume there in August. Maybe Curve. Tell me what I should be looking for here. As Tigbo says, MATIC Summer. Absolutely. There's something we should be looking for. So clearly, August. I remember that launch. It was mid-July, early July into August. Curve was like the biggest launch that really just catapulted. I mean, it catapulted / kind of killed the movement. We saw a little bit here, and then this was clearly the end. And then we got into NFTs. NFTs. I'll do it again. That's the NFT voice. So the narrative's there, though. I think if even if we range with BTC, the narrative's there for Uniswap. For, I mean, the other layer ones that host some of these dApps. Polygon. Yeah, MATIC is doing really well. I hesitate. Okay. See, Nightbot is getting rid of, is shutting down the guys who are just super excited about the stream, which I want. And Crypto Javier, who is spamming this chat, Nightbot. Like, you're not even going to do anything about this? Nightbot? Please? All right, so I don't have a list of the Polygon ecosystem. I think Polyverse is definitely one that you want to follow. Let me see if I can't find that. Yeah, Polyverse is going to be one to follow if you are interested in MATIC / Polygon. We'll call it MATIC forever. Looks like we have a podcast there. May 29th. I know some people are in Titan as well. I've seen Titan thrown around in LADZ City. Spencer Noon's coming out. Really prominent media type. Extremely impressed with 0x Polygon and the pace at which its ecosystem is developing. We need more analysts on it. So seemingly every day Polygon is coming out with some other integration, right? OKCoin. I mean, I'll just say this. Polygon, for better or for worse, I mean, my only big thing with Polygon is much like Solana. I mean, you look at it over the past year, and by year, I mean, you could really boil it down to about this February, like this year, in the last 4 months, it's up about 8,000%. So that's my biggest thing. Even at this point, being up 8,000%, it's tough. It's tough to call that, but at the same time, ETH 2.0 is when. Nobody knows. And, you know, Solana and MATIC will come in and will eat up some share. Xplow saying MATIC the next Aave, multiple hundred price. Yeah, I mean that would certainly put it. I don't think it can be a couple hundred just based on the market cap here. So it's at a $10 billion market cap, If you know, BSC is probably its closest competitor, other than Solana, which I don't even use Solana. That's the biggest thing for me. It's who do I know that uses Solana? If you use Solana in the chat, please let me know. But I'm looking at my community. Maybe I'm insulated, but people use BSC. They use Polygon. So let's say that Polygon even, you know, doubles to 20 billion. That puts it right outside the top 10, or right inside the top 10. Binance coin, something that's similar, sitting at 60 bill. So I'm always looking at market caps as it's related to some of these. So DeFi summer, heavily going to be involved in layer 2s or other scalable layer 1s. That'll be fun if we do get that. Yeah, EVM compatible, big advantage. Agreed. My whole narrative with Polygon is it's BSC without the negative sentiment. I think there's a lot of people in the Ethereum community that embrace Polygon where they don't embrace BSC. So, all right, speaking of Polygon, I got a story on here. Guys, we're just wrapping up DeFi now. We touched on NFTs. We touched on broad market news. We touched on the market discussion as well. Definitely leave a like if it's your first time or 1,000th time here. It really helps the episode get seen afterwards. Definitely share it out, guys. Would love to get new lads in here into our network. We got a bunch of different shows. If you don't like me, we've got other guys on the channel. I promise. So speaking of Polygon, looks like Badger DAO, which is one of my favorite branded DeFi protocols, who is heavily involved in DeFi as it's related to Bitcoin. What is Badger at nowadays? Love this team. I love what they're trying to do with Bitcoin and bringing that to DeFi. I don't think a lot of teams are, you know, tackling that in that way. So Badger DAO decided to partner with Polygon, really looking to establish, and there's a point here that I want to get to, but with our mission to bring BTC to DeFi, we want to make it as easy as possible for users to put their Bitcoin to work with plenty of utility. The biggest thing I want to touch on here is this fragmentation of BTC pairs. So this is big. If you are kind of lost with what's about to be said here, the real TLDR is there are different products that have BTC derivatives or wrapped BTC. So you lock your BTC, you can choose any of the protocols, and you will get a token in return to use, you know, within the ecosystem. So, for example, you use Badger DAO on Polygon, you're getting iBTC. So, with fragmented representations of BTC across chains, BTCB on Polygon or on Binance Smart Chain, wrapped BTC on Polygon, the intention is to make IBBTC, IBBTC, it's kind of weird, the most liquid and composable BTC on all chains. Users can move between chains without having to go through the hassle of converting between different flavors of Bitcoin, all while continuing to earn interest on their Bitcoin. Polygon is iBTC's first stop cross-chain. So that's okay. Nightbot, get to work. Crypto Javier, I'm going to have to boot you out this building, man. I almost added him as a moderator. God forbid. Ooh. Damn, Bored Ape Yacht Club coming through with the tunes. Anyways, Polygon increasing their ecosystem per usual. It's about every day that you're seeing something. Last two stories, I'm going to touch on this big DeFi protocol, one of the top 10 crypto projects in the industry. This is, I want to get y'all's opinion here. This is a great discussion piece. Uni is basically putting forth a proposal, or to be more accurate, a Uni user. I don't know if they sit on a council or whatnot within that governance system. This is a proposal to put together a political defense for all of DeFi via paying, via Uniswap token. So this is the discussion on the forum. Uni should fund a political defense organization for decentralized finance. I'm almost positive that the initial blowback from this was that the guy putting together the proposal was the one that was going to be funded. He was the lawyer that was going to put forth this stuff. But a really, really cool, I guess, case study for DAOs and putting together initiatives, that can get funded. So this post outlines a framework for funding regulatory and political defense of DeFi ecosystems with a grant from the Uni Community Treasury. We will refer to this fund as the DeFi Defense Fund. So I think it initially came out. Let's see if we can't search that, huh? DeFi Defense Fund. So I think, and I did see this when I was doing my research, a lot of people believe that this is a lot of freaking money. So I believe it's 1 million Uni is put up for this defense fund. And they'd like to see a little bit more kind of be involved with this. I'm just reading it along with you guys, trying to get an understanding here. But really, it looks like, from this, which I'm sure is backed up by a good amount of individuals, because I've seen it across multiple posts, it's really about the amount, the team, and kind of the conclusion there is, hey, there's not a consensus here like you would want to see amongst the Uni supporters. So Hubbard Snacks is saying, seems like a good idea to have political representation for crypto and DeFi. I think the narrative is good. It's awesome to see a DeFi DAO come together and potentially push an initiative to fund the defense of DeFi. That's fucking awesome. That's like movie level narratives. So can they get it right? That's the real question here. But from a story standpoint, amazing. So this is going to be amazing to see the response via Hayden. And let's see where the snapshot is at right now. That'll give us a look. So it looks like, and here's the biggie, right? Snapshot.org is going to be a tool for DAOs to vote off-chain. So it just sees how many, for example, LADZ tokens you have, and you vote based on weight. I love to see the disparity here, because a lot of times what happens is you have a bunch of no's, and then a yes coming through with 50% of the token weight. So you see this snapshot. This is within the Uni ecosystem. As GB enters the chat, what's going on, GB? Nice to see you. And it looks like a majority are voting for yes. but almost 2/3 of this yes are going to come from 2 wallets. Nice. So I wanted to get this out. I thought this was a really cool story. Well, this is one that you'll be hearing about if you're in crypto and you follow crypto Twitter. You're going to be hearing about this one and what the results are. If somebody, it looks like it's already closed. So I don't know if I don't know what type of majority was needed, but this is already closed. The vote has already, I wouldn't call it passed. See, like someone's asking here, June 2nd, did it pass? And we see this playing out in real time. 10.46 million of the yeses are votes from the Harvard Law Organization. Now, I can't confirm that this is true. So basically, having a very short amount of time, someone came in and voted 10.46 mil out of 34 for this. GP saying my time zone is killing my live show attendance. Well, I appreciate you showing up here today, my man. Thank you. Crypto Stamina is saying, it looks like I look like a joke voting in Avagachi DAO. So many whales there. That is the issue. The thing is governance. There's no right answer, right? Because if you go one of one, like one wallet gets one vote, how do you monitor that? Then you have people who don't have skin in the game. Maybe you time weight it. Time is always my default when it comes to governance. If you can get it right, the amount of time spent is going to reduce the amount of bots. It's going to reduce the amount of people that don't have skin in the game. So time is the other kind of weight when it comes to voting, as opposed to kind of capital, which is what you're seeing now, right? Crypto Stamina saying I look like a joke in the Avagachi DAO. It's because it's capital. It's capital. Time is the thing we all have an even amount of, but you can always game something. That's the big thing. It's always going to be gamed. Anyways, I'm preaching to the choir here. This was really cool. DC Investor, who has a lot of cool comments, says, interesting, need to think about this. I think this would be most valuable if it had a specific goal tied back to helping Uniswap versus providing general advocacy. So there should be a second factor considered, like percentage of opposing votes to overall total votes, to not give one person too much power. That would be ideal. Basically, Expo saying, if you have one person come in and outvote everybody, but all of the no's are on there, and there's like 2 yeses and 100 no's, there should be some type of weight involved. Agreed with that. But I'll let those guys figure that out. So speaking of DAO treasuries, this is my last piece that I wanted to get to. So throw in anything you guys that you guys want me to cover before I get out of here, because I'm about to. We've got Carlos Gomez, who is from Forefront. They do some awesome things over at Forefront, by the way. Really cool media aggregator for social tokens. And they have a DAO Treasury hangout that is on June 9th, 10 a.m. Pacific Standard, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard. June 9th is going to be in 2 days. So I will be listening to that while I prepare for NFT Live on Wednesday. Or Layer 1 Podcast, excuse me. But this is really cool because Shreyas runs Llama Community, which is basically like a treasury management system that looks a lot like Snapshot. So I believe Uniswap uses Llama Community, not to be confused with our Llama. Let's see if I can't get to it. So Uniswap, for example, will use Snapshot to vote on a system, much like this vote you see here on Snapshot via Uniswap. And they'll go over and use Llama to manage those grants. As you can see, maybe in May, there was an outflow April, there was an outflow. I don't see much of an inflow. I'm sure that happened all at once at some point. There you go. There's your inflow. So that's really cool. Talking to Llama community. So we actually do, a little bit of alpha drop here. We actually do have the LADZ DAO set up. That isn't finalized yet as far as what we want to put out to the broader community, but for you guys, happy to see. We are talking with the Llama team to get a setup for this as well. So all the changes we want to make, all the grants that we want to fund, we want to push that to the community, to you guys, to the nobles, if they so choose to make decisions like you're seeing here. So really cool to see us on Snapshot. Can't wait to get that done and share it out to the broader community and then utilize Llama. So that was a large episode, guys. Some of you stuck around from the very beginning. I can't tell you enough how much I appreciate that. Please like the video if you've been here the entire time and haven't liked it yet. I would appreciate that very much. Thank you to BAYC for providing the tunes. Xplow, Nick Swervis, Hubber Snacks, EC, Tigbo, DJ Savage, Donamo, Divine Sleeper. You guys absolutely killed it today. The chat is always going to be something I lean on these episodes. I know it's a long episode sometimes. I love to get all the information out to you guys. So DJ Savage is saying chill tunes today for sure. Yeah, this is a constant for me, man. Love it. Nick Swerve is saying Lisa Simpson is out here somewhere. Yeah, they had some juicy tunes there for a second. Should two people do what's best for the community or the community? Yeah, you really don't want a majority holding in two individuals. So you know what I want to end this with, guys. You gotta know. All right, before I get up out of here, you guys have been amazing. This has been Layer 1 Live. We're bringing around the industry. All week, Sunday or Monday to Sunday, we're having content. You guys know this already. So don't need to kind of go into that. We do have NFT Live tomorrow. Layer 1 podcast Wednesday, right? So the whole kind of list of episodes for the week you can find in LADZ City. Donamo saying you did another fine job, Q. Thank you. You covered a lot of deep topics. You guys really helped me out on those, man. I don't claim to know everything, and nor do I want to know everything. So being able to have LADZ City involved and everybody kind of working together to aggregate info, it's the only way. It's really a benefit. Asmodai, thank you for coming through with that. Let's see if I can find this for you guys. So let's get a look at Asmodai here. This is big. Before I pop out of here, come on now.
Boy, that's since been shorting to STC.
Is that Ian Bellina?
Most people.
Is that? Anyways, STC right here, baby. Getting a good interview in with Jen's awesome show. He's talking all about LADZ City. So I'm going to drop that here in the chat. If you guys want to check that one out, he went through and gave a good outlook of LADZ City and where we're potentially going to take it. That is continuously being built out, by the way. It's definitely a fluid environment. Metaverses aren't where we need them right now. That is almost the biggest bottleneck for us. I cannot wait to show you guys what we want to do in the metaverse that we cannot do yet. So excited for that. STC is here.
Started around about early 17, mid 17.
Okay.
Telling us when he's getting in crypto. I don't know if that's Ian Bellina. Prince Paul Kimbugwe. Interesting stuff. Okay, guys, we are up out of here. The only reason I stopped the tunes, DJ Savage, was to play us out. Again, thank you so much. Layer 1 Live. If this is your first time here, subscribe. If you have been here, leave a like on the video. Appreciate it. Our vibe, our tribe. And I will get out of here.
Hey, 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 hey. What's up, Big Connect? Hey, everybody. My name is Carlos Matos, and I am coming from New York City, New York. Let me tell you guys that I am so excited. I am so happy. I am really so thrilled to be right now sharing this amazing, glorious, super and exciting moment of my life with all of you guys. And let me tell you that we are really changing the world as we know it. The world is not anymore the way it used to be. No. Be connected.